Following from my video last week, which told the story of Colin Scott, a man who fell into and dissolved in Norris Geyser Basin, today I will be analysing and giving a brief history into the deaths that have occurred in the hot springs of Yellowstone National Park. Scott was the most recent victim, and his death is the 22nd on record. Every year, 4 million tourists visit the park to see the unspoiled scenery, incredible wildlife, and to get up close to the boiling geysers and hot springs. However, it turns out that Yellowstone is one of the more dangerous national parks for unwary and naive travellers, and one of the biggest killers to date is their hot springs. The park is located on a massive supervolcano with a lava reservoir that could devastate the entire continent if it erupted. Over 10,000 hydrothermals and half of the world's hot springs are found in the park, and according to experts, if you were to swim in one, it would be the equivalent of swimming in battery acid. The hottest the water gets to is 199 degrees Fahrenheit, or if you're English like me, 92 degrees Celsius. Yellowstone is classed by many as the first national park when it was established in 1872. Before the 1870s, there are no records of Native American injuries or deaths caused by the hot springs, but there are records that the tribes used the waters for religious and medical purposes, so it isn't out of the realm of possibility. After the property was designated as a national park, accidents became more common, and at least 4 people, including a New York senator, were scalded in the 1880s. The first recorded death was that of James Stumbo. James was a 7-year-old Montana boy who drowned in one of the hot springs whilst visiting the park in 1890. Before Colin's death in 2016, 20 others were recorded, one of these being the death of Fanny Weeks. Miss Weeks was riding the Wiley stagecoach through Yellowstone National Park on August the 18th, 1905. They stopped off at a hot spring where she became distracted whilst cleaning her glasses and stepped backwards into the hot spring. She was transported to the Albert Hotel in Livingston, Montana, where she remained for 3 weeks before succumbing to her burns on September the 4th, 1905. Miss Hartman, her travelling companion, stayed by her side for 3 weeks and travelled back with her body to Rock Creek Cemetery in Washington, D.C. The majority of the deaths were caused by accidents, but 2 of them were people trying to swim, such as Watt Cressy. Cressy was a park employee who was on his way to a late-night hot potting party in 1975, which involved a swim with other employees of the park. He jumped into one of the pools without realising it was 179 degrees. He then burned and drowned. One of the saddest cases was that of David Kerwin. David Allen Kerwin, a 24-year-old Californian who died in 1981 after suffering 3rd-degree burns all over his body. He jumped headfirst into the pool in an attempt to save a friend's dog. He was warned by a witness not to go in, but he did anyway, as he wanted to save his friend's dog. He was unable to save the dog, and he died the next morning. Colin was unfortunate enough to be number 22, but he won't be the last. It is imperative if you visit Yellowstone National Park to keep to the designated boardwalks and listen to the safety warnings. As I stated last video, they aren't there to be a burden, but to keep you safe. If you're interested in reading about the other deaths, Lee Whitley's book, Death in Yellowstone, goes into great detail about each individual case. I'm currently reading this at the moment and would highly recommend it. Thanks for watching.